Last week, America commemorated the 80th anniversary of D-Day. That was the launch of Operation Overlord, which eventually toppled the Nazi Empire. For this week's Holding On to History, Dave Anderson searched our archives for stories of Northlanders who helped free the world back in 1944.
D-Day is the term used for the day a military operation begins. D-Day for Operation Overlord was June 6, 1944. At H hour that day, parts of the Army 2nd Ranger Battalion scaled Pointe du Hoc to take out German artillery. The other companies landed at Omaha Beach. 2nd Lieutenant Gerald Heaney of Goodhue, Minnesota was with them.
Down goes the ramp, and I'm in the front of the boat on the left side, and my best friend, Captain Joe Rafferty, is on the front on the right side. Well, he's the first one out of the boat, and he's killed as he goes out of the boat.
Interviewed by news legend Duke Scorch for the 50th anniversary of D-Day in 1994, Heaney talked about being fearless for that first day of combat.
On that day, I was not afraid. But thereafter, every time we were in combat, I was afraid.
The fear would last for 11 months until Germany surrendered and the Rangers had advanced to Pilsen, Czechoslovakia. Indeed, D-Day was not just a one-day event, but the start of almost a year's worth of bloodshed. The meat grinder of war needed supplies, and those were provided by Ashland native Carl Casperson of the Merchant Marine. His ship landed in Normandy just after D-Day.
Things were still pretty active, but I went ashore by myself, rode an army truck to Cherbourg, and was mistaken for a Frenchman.
Carl figures his blue chambray merchant seaman's uniform must have looked an awful lot like what a French worker would have worn.
An army soldier said, "You certainly speak good English for a Frenchman." And I said, "Well, I'm not a Frenchman. I'm one of you."
After the war, Casperson got himself a job with KDAL radio and TV and became the station's first weathercaster in 1954. Gerald Heaney would become a judge with the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals for 40 years. Both men remembered their D-Day service until passing away. Holding on to history in Duluth, Dave Anderson, Northern News Now.
The Allied victory on D-Day was accomplished by the work of 73,000 Americans like Gerald Heaney and Carl Casperson. They were assisted by 83,000 British and Canadian troops.